One of the fundamental principles in our growth is to really start the day off and with just an amazing attitude. And we talk all the time about attracting. We want to attract instead of chase. One of the things that we need to do in order to attract people, one of the things that we need to do to be inspiring is we need to start off the day the right way. We have to be a positive light in all the people's lives who we come across in a day. And it's always been my goal to try and be the best experience that somebody had during the day. So no matter where I was, if it's a cashier at the gas station, I want them to have the best customer experience they've had all day. If it's a client, I want them to not only have the best customer experience they had all day, but certainly the best customer experience they had with anybody that they've worked with. And so we start off with that sort of the foundation of what we're trying to accomplish is we need this to be a premium customer experience. I'm a firm believer that every single morning we're carrying around the weight of our life. And some of you, if you remember in the very first presentation I did, we talk about the whiteboard of life. And if you think about your whiteboard of life, you have all these things that you write on it. So we have a whiteboard and there's stuff like our house payment and our kids and taking them to soccer practice and putting gas in the car and getting the oil changed and homework and bills and the cable bill and dance class and soccer practice. And there's just all this stuff. And it's the things that we need to do on a daily basis. And there's no doubt about that. We have to understand there's some things we just can't get out of. But that's not what we want to focus on. We're going to get those things done anyway. But when we wake up in the morning, our whiteboard of life has all of that stuff on it. And it's not stuff that we need to grow our business. And so what I really want to do is everyone who comes in contact with us is going to become inspired. And that's friends, that's family, that's clients. And we want to be that best version of ourselves for everyone that's in our life. And we do that by starting out the day with a fresh whiteboard. And so there's a principle I want to introduce to you called erase, educate, and motivate. And I want to start out each day doing those three things. And so what I would ask you is I need a commitment for a half hour. And I need that half hour to be strictly focused on what we're about to talk about. So if you get up at 6 in the morning, I really need you to get up at 5:30. It's only a half hour. I need you to dedicate 10 minutes to each of these principles that we're going to talk about. Erase, educate, and motivate. And what that's going to do is that's going to allow us to erase that whiteboard of life, start off clean, and then replace what's on that whiteboard with productive things that are going to help us do everything better that whole day long. And that's our goal. Our goal is to be the best version of us personally and professionally. So by doing this, not only are you going to be more productive professionally, not only are people going to be more attracted to you, but you're going to be more effective and you're going to be happier in your personal life also. So let's start out with this concept of erase, educate, and motivate. Now, the first thing I need to do is I know that when I wake up, the mortgage is there, the car payment's there, changing the oil is there, the kids' practice is there, breakfast, going to school, paying bills, doing doctor's appointments, and all of these things that life throws at us. What I need to do is I need to erase that stuff and put something on there that I want. So the first part, erasing, is really just taking that stuff out of the conscious mind and replacing it with something that is much more valuable in helping us to have a positive and productive day. Attracting, being fulfilled. So the first thing we want to do is we want to erase that whiteboard. I would never tell you that everything I do is the right way or the right thing to do. Each of us are individuals, and what I'll share with you works for me. And I would challenge you to explore it. If it's not for you, then find something else that you can do this with. But what I need to do is I need to consciously erase that whiteboard of life every single morning. Now, I do that by gratitudes. And so it's almost a hybrid of meditation. Some people would consider it meditation. Some people wouldn't, depending on if they're, super into meditation and it's guided meditation, what have you. But the point is, the first thing I do is my alarm goes off. Sometimes I'm up before my alarm goes off, but I really don't want to do this, the second the alarm goes off. I really want to be conscious because I want to be thinking about what I'm doing. So I might hit snooze once or twice. If I'm already awake and I'm conscious of it, I might just lay there and just wait till I fully wake up. But Once I'm aware, once I'm fully awake, then what I do is I just do gratitudes. And try to do this for 10 minutes. And it's very, very difficult because what you're going to find is you get these gratitudes going and 1 or 2 minutes is relatively simple. 1 or 2 minutes is relatively easy. But as we start to do this and we need to get 10 minutes worth, we really have to dig deep. And we have to start being grateful for all kinds of things that we would have never expected because we're trying to fill this time. We're trying to make sure that we're digging deep because we truly are blessed even as we speak. We all have goals and we all have aspirations. We're in this program to get better. We're in this program to double our sales. We're in this program to add 6 figures to our income. But as we stand today, we're relatively blessed compared to the rest of the world. We all have homes, we all have cars, we all have jobs. And so gratitude is a very important part of this because it starts to erase all of that stuff that's on that whiteboard, right? Sure, we have a mortgage, but think about the house that you have. There's people who are living in grass huts with no electricity, no running water. There's people who are, have large families living in 1 and 2 room apartments. And so we have to just understand that by doing these gratitudes, what we're doing is we're really erasing all that stuff. And that's all it really is it's just stuff. It's stuff that occupies space in our head that doesn't do anything productive for us. And these gratitudes will. These gratitudes are going to make you start your day with a completely different attitude. And so, again, I'll share with you kind of how I walk through my gratitudes. It may not be for you, and that's okay. What I would tell you is just find something to replace it. Find something you're comfortable with. Find something that gets your head in the right space that's erasing that whiteboard. I have had some people tell me they actually visualize their whiteboard, and they actually just visualize themselves erasing each of those things. And that's sort of how they clear their whiteboard as opposed to doing gratitude. So this is more for you to understand that you need to take that 10 minutes to erase that whiteboard. You need to take that 10 minutes to start off with a blank space. So as I walk through my gratitudes, I break them down spiritually, health, personally, and professionally. So the first thing I do is I walk through some spiritual gratitudes, and I'm grateful for some things in my spiritual life. The next thing I do is I do some gratitudes with regard to my health, and I walk through several items of gratitude and thanks for my health condition. Then I walk through gratitudes of people, and this is where I spend a lot of time because there's a lot of people in my life I'm grateful for. And I really walk through one by one each person that I'm grateful for and why. The thing that they bring to my life, the thing that I'm so grateful that has been part of my life and that I would miss if it wasn't in my life. And then finally what I do is I do some gratitudes for opportunities that I have, whether that's personally, whether that's professionally, whether that's spiritually, and whether it's intellectually. And so I just walk through as many gratitudes as I can. And again, you really have to dig deep because it's difficult to do this for 10 minutes. Okay? So now that I've done that, I've taken care of the erase portion of my equation. We talk about erase, educate, and motivate, and I actually do them in a different order. I do them in erase, motivate, and educate, because the next thing that I do is I do declarations, and some of you have heard of declarations, some of you have heard of affirmations. I think they're relatively the same thing. I like declarations. I think it's a little bit more powerful word. And so the next phase that I go into after I do my gratitudes is I do these declarations. And again, this is 10 minutes of me just making statements that are positive in my life. So I start off with adjectives and just descriptions of what I want to declare about myself. These things that I want my brain working on to make a reality. So there are things like I'm successful, I'm intelligent, I'm kind, I'm generous, I'm faithful, I'm loyal, I'm honest, I'm successful, I'm wealthy, I'm giving, I'm helpful, I'm important. Okay? So I just did that for like 15 seconds. Again, I try to do this for as close to 10 minutes as I can, and you really have to dig deep, right? You have to start saying, I have a great beard, or all kinds of silly things, but the point is, you need to spend 10 minutes just declaring how amazing you are and declaring all of these amazing traits that you have. And all of us have them. All of us are working toward to be the perfect version of ourselves. We're not in competition with anyone else. All we're trying to do is be the best us. And the best us already has a ton of great qualities. And so we just need to recognize those, and we need to say those so that we're actively working on that. If I say that I'm successful, my brain will actively work on giving me examples of how I'm successful and how to be more successful. If I say I'm wealthy, my brain's going to work on how to be more wealthy. And so we just understand that it's very important, and we're going to want to cut corners. This exercise is going to take all of 2.5 minutes if you don't dig deep. And the whole point is this should be uncomfortable. You should really have to think about these things. You should really have to go in depth into why you are so spectacular. And using words like spectacular and amazing, right? You don't have to say why you're amazing when you're doing your declarations. If you want to, that's sort of bonus points, and it helps you, fill up that 10 minutes. But it's fine to just say, I'm amazing, I'm spectacular, I'm wonderful, I'm intelligent. But we really want to do these declarations, and we want to do them over and over and over every single day. Because now that we've erased that whiteboard, we've taken all the stuff out of that whiteboard, we want to fill it with great things like I'm amazing and I'm successful and I'm wealthy. And this is how we start building that foundation of positivity every single day. This is what we're going to bring into the world every single day. And this is how people are going to respond to us, and this is how people are going to be attracted to us, because we're doing such a phenomenal job of putting that out there, of showing the world how confident we are, how amazing we are, how smart we are, how giving we are, how thoughtful we are, all of these qualities that we declare about ourselves. And then finally, and the most simple one to do is we just need to educate ourselves. And sometimes if you are running a little ahead on the other two, if you get through the first two and you have 14 minutes instead of 10 minutes left, then just fill that with education. And there's plenty of education out there. So I prefer to read. I love books. And so at any given time, I have 4 books on my nightstand, and I kind of go to different books depending on what day it is. I have a book of daily devotions, and so that sort of feeds my spiritual end. But that it's a very quick read because you have a devotion for each day, and so it takes maybe 4 or 5 minutes to read that little section. And then from there, I go into a book that's educational, something that's going to help me grow, something that's going to help me do my job better, something that's going to help me offer somebody something that I've learned. And so you can certainly use books. You can certainly use the internet if you want to research an article. Maybe the night before you go to bed, you research an article and you leave that window open. That way you can get up in the morning and you just open up the internet and there's your educational article. Facebook has a ton of great information, and you might find people in your industry that have recorded videos or have made blog posts that you can follow, or podcasts. And so the whole point is every single morning you should be doing something to better yourself. Every single morning you should be doing something that you are growing, something that you're expanding your knowledge base. The market is currently changing. Sales techniques are currently changing. Your family life is currently changing. And all these things require you to become a better person. They require you to keep up with technology. They require you to keep up with your family as it grows. And so you can choose whatever education you want, but I would tell you that that should be a big part of your day, is just spending 10 minutes to grow in whatever area you could. If it's spiritually you want to grow, then read spiritual writing. If you want to grow in your family life, if you want to grow in raising your children, if you want to grow in cooking, you can read about whatever you want as long as you're learning, as long as you're continuing to grow. And so again, those 3 principles are erase, educate, and motivate. And by doing this every single morning, what you're going to find is you are a much more positive person. You have a much more positive outlook on the day. And there's a ton of people out there that can give you the negative. There's a ton of people out there who are going to communicate in a negative manner, who are going to talk about what they don't have or what they didn't get. And the reality of it is the world is what we see. If we choose to see the positive, the world's going to be positive. The world will react positive. If you choose to see the negative, the world will be negative. and you'll see the negative, and you will react negativity, and the world will hand you negativity. Erase, educate, motivate. Be positive. Start your day off with a clean whiteboard. You are the author of that whiteboard. You get to put whatever you want on there. Why not fill it with success? Why not fill it with positivity? Why not fill it with growth? So I hope these tips were helpful. If you guys want to chat about anything, if you're struggling with any one of the three, you are certainly welcome to reach out to me. You can always call me 480-436-1820. I'm sure all of you have my number, but I'll give it to you again anyway. This is a core principle that we need to get good at. You know, we have the morning videos where we talk about getting ourselves into the right mindset and where we talk about overcoming limiting beliefs. And this is a habit that we need to build. This reinforces everything we did in those first 60 days in those morning videos. This reinforces it. And it encompasses some of the things that we did in those morning videos. But we really need to make this a habit of erase, educate, and motivate. So you may even want to write yourself a note before you go to bed, or maybe put a sticky note on your phone, or put a sticky note on your dresser, so that when you wake up, you have this reminder to erase, educate, and motivate. And I know that some of you have early schedules, some of you have kids to get to school, and that's great. What I would tell you is this is worth the half hour you're going to invest. If you currently get up at 5:30, get up at 5 and try this. It's going to change the rest of your day. It changes the course of the rest of your day because you go into the day with positivity, and everything is going to mirror that. Everything you get back, if you put positivity out, you're going to get positivity back. And so you couple that with some of the communication techniques we learned in the morning videos, and what you're going to find is your day is much more peaceful and much more positive. So you guys have an amazing week. We'll talk again. I'm going to start doing the morning videos through Facebook now. So look for it there. You should be invited to groups based on Map to Success in whatever area, geography area that you happen to be. So I wish you guys all the best fortune for this week. I love working with you, and we'll talk again soon.